transition goals. And then we have a flexible 20% that can be allocated, no, either on the functional or on the value addition based on the CSU priorities.
All right. Thank you so much, our IWP expert, Ish. Thank you, Ish.
Thank
So again,
you.
let's keep in mind though, our goals are made up of functional and value add. So let's not forget about that. We'll also be flashing on screen just for you to have a recap of how it looks like. But if you can notice there, our general guidelines is composed of one of the most important thing we have to keep in mind, outcome-based. We've blurred the definition. So I want you to share your perception or definition of what outcome is versus the output. All right? Can you please share in our chat box your definition of what outcome is versus the output? Sige nga, let's see. Ano lang, your perspective, your idea. Yan. Based from your own knowledge of what output is versus outcome, what is your definition? Sige, let's see your definition. Any idea, any perspective in mind, feel free to put it in our chat box. Or if you have any answer in mind, feel free to raise your hand. Any brave souls? Sige, or maybe you can just put it in our chat box. Or you may raise your hand. I think Miss Charm, you've unmuted.
Oh, okay. So, yeah,
Yep.
I did. So output really is something that's tangible, something direct,
Mhm.
a task or an activity. An outcome is based on those outputs, you come out with some type of activity, process, or task. It may not be something that's directly observable outcome. The output is tangible. You can touch it. You can. It's a result of a particular process, for example, or a task, or something that you did. There's output.
Yep. Thank you so much for that, Miss Charm. Yes, Miss Charm is indeed correct. So again, when we say output, these are more of the activities that you do. Let's say, for example, in a certain process, in a certain streamlined process, or in a certain set of milestones that you have, these are what you call as the output. Outcome is really more of, again, an impact that you're able to achieve after doing these certain outputs or activities along the way. So that's correct. So outputs are more tangible because these are the tasks that we do. Outcome is really the result that you're able to gain after doing all these outputs at the very end. So again, well said, Miss Charm. Thank you so much. A round of applause. Yeah, siguro we'll also get in touch with Miss Charm for some prizes from the people team. We'll give that to Miss Charm as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your perspectives on our output versus outcome, and of course, your perspective on our individual work program. This tells us that in performing our responsibilities as a people, instead of measuring success by how many tasks we finish, we should measure it by the impact our work contributes to our individual success, the success of our teams, and our organization. Of course, to help us further understand outcome-based goals, here are the things we are expected to learn for today. So these are your learning objectives. As a reminder, by the way, to everyone, no, this learning session will serve as a guide for us to be able to effectively craft outcome-based goals. But here are some of the things we're expected to learn for today. Of course, we're expected to understand the power of outcome-based goals and how they drive success. We are also expected to learn how to write SMART goals, very important, that focus on real impact, discover key metrics to measure success and value creation, apply outcome-based goal setting to enhance efficiency, problem solving, and skills growth. And of course, last but not the least, build an action plan to track progress and drive long-term performance. Again, if you can notice, all these objectives really drive outcome-based goal setting. So that's the core of our learning session for today. All right, before we begin, let us first set the tone, right? Set the tone at a high this Monday morning through Prof. Art Emakling, our partner from ID. Prof. Art,
Yes, yes, yes. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Aboitis. So nice to see you once again. So, sana nakita rin tayo doon na systems thinking. No? So, my name is Art and we are from ILE Consulting. We have been in the industry for 15 years already and we've been partners with Aboitis for quite a few years as well. But it's not about me, it's about you. And we are going to test your temperature for today. So with that, we'd like to introduce you to Kat Mustahan. This is the most advanced tool to know your temperature today in this Monday mode. To keep it light, to keep it light. So what we're gonna do here is that we are going to show you this picture and in the chat box. So please tell us, let us know who do you think you are in this picture. Ikaw ba yung one? Ikaw ba yung two? Ikaw ba yung three? Or ikaw ba yung four? Ikaw ba yung five? Huh? Ikaw ba yung six? Crazy Monday, right? No, seven or eight, very excited? Or, nako, raring to go, number nine. Let us know in the chat box. Let's go, let's go, let's go! Ayan, si Ish na eight siya. Aboitis Academy number two. How about the others? Ayan, meron three. Ano yung three? Oh, yung three. Wow, very cute. Number 9. Oh, si Peachy talagang raring to go. Si Rodic too. Rodic ha. Parang hindi ka pa Monday. Parang Friday ka pa. Keen, number 6. Ayan. Number 4, si Ryan. Number 8. Alright, we're gonna close this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pero, what I want you to do is to imitate the picture that you have just inputted and we are going to take your picture this early Monday morning. Let's go. Ano kaya ako? Number 2 then, crazy then. Alright, so let's close this slide. And let's take another picture together with, of course, portraying what you have. Okay? Are you ready? So take the count, Andrew.
yes, yes, let's turn on our cameras,
Turn on
everyone.
the cameras. This is our rule. Uh, all right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, good job, everyone. Good job, everyone. Just to keep it light, just to keep it light, because that is just our rule for today. Is for us to enjoy, and as you know, no, as you know, for those who have um been with us with the strategic thinking, enjoy has a meaning. All right, it is an acrostic. E stands for be an empty vessel for today. No, we know that you have known a lot of trainings here at Aboitiz Academy, but today we'd like to invite you to be empty vessels. And N stands for we invite everyone also to have no sideline activities. I know that your job, your function is really important, lalo na no that we are going through the great transformation. But then again, this is a time for us to learn this Monday morning. So no or well, minimize the sideline activities. And J stands for please join and be engaged. As Andrew mentioned, please do engage us in the chat box, or if you have any questions, which turns us to letter O, to open up. No, if you have any insight that you have the chat box, you have the Q&A that is relevant. No, if you have questions that are relevant, this is a safe space. No, this is a safe space. So your question are very valuable to us. Your question might lead to other aha moments other than the ones that we're going to share with you today. And Y stands for your learning lies within you. It's not within us. The beauty of the program lies within the beautiful questions and, of course, the engagement that you're going to have today. All right. So, in this moment, I'd like to introduce you our senior facilitators for Beyond Outputs driving impact through outcome based goals. Now, so he is an international trainer with regular speaking engagement in Singapore, Shanghai, Thailand, Malaysia, and soon in Vietnam. Is one invited by the top one of the top pharmaceutical companies globally to conduct a branding, marketing, customer experience, and culture building workshop in Germany. It's also one directly mentored by Dr. Paul Stoltz, a lecturer in Harvard University, MIT, Carnegie Mellon, to name a few, to be one only top four or only certified, no? Only 4 certified trainers in adversity quotient and grit. That's a good topic. And also studied customer experience management at the Disney Institute. And it's also a university professor teaching strategic management, organizational theory, and design and operation management and business management. Please do welcome our main facilitator and speaker for today, Professor Francis Laseo.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, Francis.
So, allow me to share my slide right now. Can you see my slide?
Not yet.
Oh, here we go. I just practiced this a while ago. Let me do that once again.
One more time with
One,
feelings.
one more time. Casey, can you share the slide for me, please? Thank you.
Here you go.
Okay, so welcome to Beyond Outputs, Driving Impact or Outcome Goals. So let me share with you the objective for this less than 2 hour program. So at the end of this session, our main objective is be able to differentiate between output and outcome. Good thing you have shared that a while ago. And I'm very impressed about your insight and knowledge about the difference between these two. This is very critical. Why? Creating our goals matter a lot because that will be your focus. If your focus is really output driven goals, we might be insensitive to the result. Have you ever experienced driving a lot of output, but did it generate a lot of results? I'm sure it happens, right? The second one is we have to make it smart. There's a saying, whatever gets measured gets done. So we have to make it measurable. So that's number two, Casey. So can you create the slide? So we will share with you the principles of SMART goals. And finally, Casey, next please. Learn techniques in crafting functional and addition value adding goals. So time right now is very tight, but the framework is this one. So next slide, Casey. So first, we will be able to differentiate between output and outcome, and that is very critical and foundational. Second, how to make it smart. Third, how do we align? Alignment is very important. I teach strategic management at De La Salle, and I'm proud to say I'll be going to Harvard next month to know and learn how to create advanced strategy formulation. And what I've learned and what I taught is very aligned. And when you talk about aligned, the reason for execution gap is the alignment. If your goals are not aligned to the strategic pillars or to any pillars, then it will not move the needle. How many times you have created a goal that's not aligned to the strategic pillars, you feel satisfaction of the output, but if they ask you, are you really contributing to the balance scorecard? Are you really contributing to our metrics? If the answer is no, probably there is something wrong with our goal creation. And finally, regardless if you are the driver of such strategy or you are from HR or you are doing a supporting role, there's always way for us to add value. There's always way for us to correlate. And we will be talking about that today. So next slide, Casey. So let's talk about output. So this is the outline, which is the next slide. So why goal creation matters. Then we'll talk about output versus outcome, principles in smart creation, and we will have a game for today. We will have a smart and unsmart exercise. So you have to tell me how to make it smart. Then we will be talking about how do we align our functional goals to the strategy, because that's really the essence of a functional goals and the value addition goals. And finally, how do we make it stick? So next slide, Casey. Did you know, according to Harvard, that people who have goals are 10 times more likely to achieve them than those without goals? This is an astonishing and interesting study. Did you know that people who wrote down their goals are more likely to be successful? Okay, and can you go for the next slide, Casey? Not just identifying goals, but people who wrote down their goals, they are more likely to succeed than those who don't. Right? In the next slide that Casey will be showing, this is a data that will share with you that 83% of the people have no goals. And with this 14% people who have their goals in their head, they are 10 times more successful. Unfortunately, only 3% are the people in the world writing their goals. And that's why they belong to the elite. They belong to the most successful ones, the few successful ones. And they are 30 times more successful than people who don't have goals. Why is this the case? Because, next slide, Casey, the common thread is that people who wrote down their goals have clarity, focus, and visualization. On your screen right now are example of famous celebrities, famous individuals, thought leaders who achieved their goal and who started by identifying or writing down their goals. So we have Napoleon Hill, Jim Carrey. This is interesting, right? For Jim Carrey, Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for 10 million for acting services rendered and dated it for 5 years in the future. He visualized earning it, and by 1994, he received a 10 million paycheck for Dumb and Dumber. So, if you're familiar with the movie, that's an old movie. Oprah Winfrey wrote down her goals and used vision boards to visualize success, believing in the power of intention and manifestation. Hashtag sa Pinoy pa, i-manifest mo na yan. O, di ba? Ano namang minanifest mo? Japan goals 2025. I-manifest mo na yan, di ba? Ano pang mga goals nyo this year? I-manifest mo na yan, di ba? How to write goals. Next slide, Casey. Another example, Bruce Lee, Sarah Blakely, Grant Cardone, Brian Tracy, Richard Bronson, owner of Virgin Group of Companies. They all down written their goals. So my question is to you is that you can input in our chat box. Okay, next slide, Casey. Yeah. Next slide, please. Can you share a personal or professional goal you successfully achieved that began with a vision board or intentional goal setting? Meron ba? You can input in our chat box or you can unmute yourselves and share with me. Meron ka bang board? Meron ka bang professional goal? Sinulat mo siya. Totoo nga. Di ba? Siguro sa iba, nag-flames or candle sa girlfriend nila at nakalagay, result married. Pwede din yun. Pasado yun sa vision goals. Mga genuine talaga.
Ginawa mo?
Old school yung technique. Nag-flames or candle. How about you guys?
Come on. Let's go to the chat box. Let us see. Have you made a vision board of sorts that came through, or what happened to your vision board? Let's see in the chat. Andrew, let us know if there are questions also can help.
Sure.
Or vision board. Have you ever experienced having a vision board? Tapos nagkatotoo? By the way, guys,
nagkaroon ako ng vision board. I have a vision that I'm gonna have a farm someday, and I did. I had a bee farm. Bee farm, malit lang, ganyan lang.
Alam niyo
Pero
ba,
farm yon.
farm yun. Alam niyo ba saan nanggaling yung word na vision? It came from the Latin word videre. Videre means. So if you are used to goal setting, you're able to see that it can be done. Ah, really? Wow. Personal vision.
Wow.
Oh, Sons of Vietnam. I love the food there. Hindi ako mahilig sa vegetable. Doon, napapakain ako ng gulay. Sa Vietnam, masarap ang gulay sa Vietnam.
Isang timbang gulay ang kakainin niyo sa Vietnam.
How about the others? What's
How
your
about the others?
vision? What's your vision or probably a goal that you have written down tas nagkatotoo?
Yeah.
It's not too late to start. So, my suggestion, meron ka bang journal, may notebook ka ba, meron ka bang board sa kwarto mo, lagay mo yung vision mo. All right? From a religious perspective, people are saying if you pray for it, God will answer. From a spirituality perspective, like the alchemists, people are saying the universe will conspire on the things that you have in mind. There's a saying, two things are created twice. One in the mind and one in reality. If you haven't created the goal in your mind, it will never happen. Two things created twice. You create it in your mind, the goal in your mind, and the one in reality. But if you haven't thought about it, it will never happen. Okay. So this is an interesting fun fact. What's in it for you? Why do you have to be used in writing goals and thinking about your goals? So next slide, KTC. The key takeaway here is make a habit of setting goals regularly so that you can take consistent action to bring them fruition. Okay. The next part in understanding in goal creation is to understand the difference between output and an outcome. In the next slide, I'll share with you a case study. This is a case study of the output trap. What's wrong with output? So this is a case study of this manager. In an effort to boost productivity, a project manager aggressively pushed for the completion of 50 sustainability reports across various business units. While the output was high, the reports lacked alignment, insights and alignment with corporate impact. Despite meeting the quota, stakeholders found little value, proving the focusing on output over meaningful outcomes leads to wasted effort and missed opportunities for real progress. Nakaka-relate ba? Meron ka bang na-experience with your colleague, with your direct reports, or with yourself, wherein sobra kang obsessed with output? It has become a trap, pero hindi mo na measure yung results. Hindi mo na measure yung impact. What happens? You get frustrated, you get depressed. Why? Because even if you work hard, it wasn't appreciated. Some of us might nagtatampo, bakit di na-appreciate? Nag-effort naman ako. Ah. Nagbantay ako sa office ng 8 hours. Nagbantay lang ba? Na-achieve ko yung 8 hours being present. No absentee. Pero it doesn't add value. So next slide, Casey. Can you share an instance when you were too focused on output, only to realize later that it lacked value or impact? Meron ba?
Meron kayong experience wherein yun
Meron
nga
akong
nangyari,
experience
no?
naman sa sports.
Yeah.
Flex ko lang, naging champion yung basketball team ko last week, di ba? Pero nag-adjust kasi ako ng focus. First, ang output ko, gusto ko makashoot kasi everyone loves to be a superstar. Pero in reality, di talaga ako shooter, pero shoot ako ng shoot. And it realized, it became the reason bakit natatalo yung team namin kasi buwakaw, gusto ko ako mag-shoot. Then I started focusing on different outcome. The outcome is defense, the outcome is rebounding, and with the right outcome, the outcome is for the team to win. All right? Hindi na ako nagpapa-superstar. Naghanap ako, how can I add value to the team? And I accepted the fact, hindi talaga ako shooter. So in your case, what is that instance wherein sobrang focus ka sa task, sa output, only to realize na wala masyado siyang value or impact? Meron ba?
Meron ba?
Okay. Input in our chat box. Meron din dito sa art, sa business. Art is in sales. Ang dami naming mga fino-focus, mga marketing initiatives, ang dami naming services, for example, executive search dati, meron kaming social engine optimization, digital marketing, and we realize, guys, the output and outcome that we're focused on, all right, it doesn't really add value to the profitability of the company. And then we realize, let's focus on our flagship services. Let's focus on profitability, on training, and team building. So doon na kami nag-focus. Sales on training and not just in terms of creating other services. Kasi product variation yung ginawa namin, wala namang align doon, wala namang impact doon sa profitability that we want to have that will sustain our business. So, yeah. How about you guys? So
Let us know.
Differently, yeah. So next slide, Casey. So here's the difference between output and outcome. Let's simplify. Okay. Although si output and outcome share a level of result, first degree result si output. Pero most of the time, output talaga is related to the task or to the to-dos. Si outcome naman is the result. And usually related siya to value adding to your customers. You're able to solve a problem, new possibilities, the change of behavior, and definitely the outcome will provide impact. So another example, next slide, Casey, an output, you created 10 articles for our company vlog. Kunyari, nag-vlogger ka, di ba? Food vlogger ka, di ba? Kaya daw dumating na si Michelin dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi bakit daw mag-food vlog ang mga Pinoy? Lahat na lang masarap.
Lahat masarap eh.
So outcome, increased revenue from organic traffic by 20%. So outcome is essentially a result. Okay, another thing that you have to consider, next slide, Casey, output, these are the things that you do. Deliverables, projects that helps you towards your goal. You hope it brings success but doesn't guarantee. Maganda tong third bullet for everyone to reflect on. A while ago, someone shared, right, that sometimes outcome is not within your control. and output is not a guarantee. That's why you change your output every now and then. Because your theory is, if you do this, you've achieved that. If you do the output, you achieve that outcome. We're not saying to let go of your output. What we're saying is that mas focus ka dapat sa outcome. Kasi pag nag-focus ka sa outcome, nag-a-adjust ka ng output. Pag nilagay mo na yung output dun sa goal formulation mo, di ka na mag-a-adjust. Ang focus mo lang talaga lagi, nagawa mo ba or hindi. Pag sa outcome, na-achieve mo ba or hindi. This is a very powerful framework on how to differentiate output and outcome, task and achievement. Outcome is about achievement. Hindi achievement ang task that needs to be done. Ang achievement is the result of the task. Your output is that you hope that it will help you achieve the desired result. It might change, as I mentioned, if it doesn't bring results. The outcome naman, the results that you want to get after doing the output. Usually measurable yan, and it measures the goal. It shows the success loud and clear. Naging top 1, market share, 0 error, di ba? Ano pa? Employee retention. Yan ang mga outcome. Diba? It stays the same until it is achieved. Diba? Next slide, please. So don't worry, we'll share this e-module with you. Ang dami pang mga definition on the difference between outcome and output. So this is a good guide. Itong 10 differences na to. Don't worry, we'll share this with you. Okay, next slide. So ito pa. Outcome versus output. Outcome, this is the value you have created. Kaya strong yung correlation ng outcome sa value. Mamaya, we'll talk about value addition goals. Second, this is the difference made by the output. Kasi nagawa mo yung output, pero it doesn't move the needle. Yung results the same pa rin. Pwede naman yun. Diba? Then, another thing about, the nice thing about outcome, it deliver real, valuable business results. Pag output naman yan, actions, very tangible. Nabanggit yung kanina yung tangible, very concrete. Pag outcome, di mo nakikita. Hindi siya ganun concrete. Pero nakikita mo may resulta. Okay? Similar to sa 4 disciplines of execution ni Stephen Covey. So, next slide, Casey. We will allow me to do a detour. Allow me to use the word detour. Allow me to do detour to this book by McChesney, Covey, and Hulling from the Franklin Covey Group. Meron silang 4DX na framework, 4 disciplines of execution, how to get things done. Dito mahalaga tong 4DX, next slide, para maintindihan natin ang difference ng lead measure and lag measure. Alright, so please give me a thumbs up. Sino ditong gusto magpapayat? Magpapayat. Ako, tagal ko nang gusto magpapayat. Yan hanggang ngayon, di ko pa rin magawa.
Double thumbs up ka, sir.
Okay. How do you know if na-achieve mo yung goal mong pampapayat? How will you know?
Put it in the chat.
Chat box. Yay, pumayat na ako. Paano mo malaman na na-achieve mo na yung goal mo? That's right.
Pag nag-decrease yung
The
weight.
decrease
Pag maliit
in
na lang
weight-
ang platong ginagamit mo, busog ka na.
The weight loss or the decrease in weight is an example of an outcome because you cannot control it. A lot of people thought when you look at the weighing scale, oh no, I can control it. No, you cannot control it. All right? That's the result of what you can control, which is the output. Decrease in weight is an example of an outcome. That is called, next slide, Casey, ang tawag dyan, lag measure. Lag measure is similar to outcome. Lag measure measures the results of what you want to achieve. Now, how do you achieve that lag measure? Sige, how do you lose weight? The question is how? How do you lose weight? Yun yung, how do you achieve that outcome? Input in our chat box, please. Sige na. Mga experts sa weight management 101.
Oo. Naku, sa Avoitis marami yan. Mga ano, mga
Aside sa ano,
fitness.
aside sa magturok ng Ozempic, diba? Mga nag-shortcut yan, mga nag-Ozempic yan, umami na kayo ha, tulad ko.
Ako din.
How do you
Ano
lose
yung
weight? So
nyo?
marami yan. Tawag naman yung how to achieve the outcome is what we call lead measure. So next slide, Casey. Lead measure. Example ng lead measure, ayan,
Yeah.
nag-jogging ka ba?
Yeah, 30 minutes of walking
30
each
minutes
day.
of walking, good. Exercise. Yan ang example ng output. Eating less.
Eating less.
Yan. Example yan ng output. So next slide, Casey. Example niya, tawag yan lead measures. Nag-exercise ka ba? Diba? Pero definitely, syempre, balance mo rin yung output. Make sure meron siyang correlation sa outcome. Kasi may nagbabiking, meron akong kilala di ba, ka-Eilip Art, nagbabike siya. Pero inisip ko, sorry, judgmental. Sabi ko, nagpabike ba taong to? Parang di naman pumapayat. Tapos, nakuha ko yung insight. Sabi ko, pare, di ba nakakapayat ang biking? Sabi niya, pare, yun yung first thought ko na akala ko ma-achieve ko yung outcome of losing weight. Unfortunately, ito yung insight ng babike. Pag nagbag-bike ka, nagfo-food tour ka rin pala. So, lalo na sa
True.
Antipolo, lagi ka nagsastop
True.
over ng mga coffee shops, ng mga stops.
Ulit, coffee shop ka dyan, Paris.
So, nagpaparas na lang. So, what does it mean?
Paris.
What does it mean? An output is not a guarantee of an outcome. So, biking with eating might not be the right output of losing weight, di ba? So, next slide, Casey. Yan. So, dapat you have to use the right output to achieve the right outcome. So, probably exercise rigidly, ano pa, next slide, Casey, di ba? Less food intake or less calorie intake, di ba? So, take note. Next slide, Casey. This is the lead and lag measure, which is strongly related to outcome and output. By doing this, you do that. By doing the output, you have achieved the outcome. And take note of the output. It's predictive because you can see in the future what will happen in matters of completion in doing the task. Okay? It's influenceable. That's within your control. And this is the reason why we are so in love with output. Why? Within control ko eh. Malay ko ba makokontrol ko yung customer satisfaction? Malay ko ba makokontrol ko yung net promoting score? Malay ko ba makokontrol ko yung zero audit? Hindi ko naman makokontrol yan eh. Siyempre, playing safe ako. Doon ako sa output. And probably that's the reason, that's the mindset. Why it's hard for us to write down the outcome. Because accountability might be a challenge here. Hindi ko siya kontrolado eh. Diba? But take note of this one. The good thing about accountability to the outcome, you will really find ways, find the right output to achieve the result, to find impact, diba? To add value. So, end of the day, ask ourselves, gusto ko lang ba na busy-busyhan? Or gusto ko yung talagang may impact ako sa organization? Especially nowadays, we measure people based on value and impact. Alright? Kasi working smart, using the Pareto principle, if you're a person that doesn't just add value, then you're just an expense. You don't really move the needle. So ask ourselves, ang goal ko ba is outcome-driven, which adds impact, or busy-busyhan lang, puro task lang nilalagay ko? So, isa pang example, di ba? O para ma-differentiate natin yung outcome and outcome. How do you measure safety? Tingnan, input in your chat box. Safety. Safety ang goal. Oh, how do you measure safety? Number of what? Number of? Paano malaman? That's
Zero
correct.
accidents. No?
Zero accident. Kan tanong, nakokontrol mo yung accident? Hindi. Ang output, nakokontrol mo. So you're correct. Next slide, Casey. You measure, the outcome is, at the end of the year, we'll be able to achieve zero accident. Yan ang outcome. Anong output? Output is, nag-design ka ba ng safety standards? Next slide, Casey. Lahat ba nag-wear ng safety hands? Yan ang output. Pag nilagay mo, nagdi-design ako ng safety standards, di ba? In-ensure ko, nag-comply lahat mag-wear ng safety hats. Yes, that might be correct in helping zero accident. But that is an output. Okay? Next slide, Casey. How do you measure sales? Ito sales naman. Sales is a strategic initiative. Sales is, how do you measure it? Profitability. Next slide, Casey. Growth of the business, growth of the products, profitability. Diba? That's how you measure sales. Okay? Pero, anong output sa sales? Output is, next slide, Casey, number of client visits, number of calls, number of events, something within your control. This is an example of an output. So next slide, Casey. So output, they are called the lead measures. Lead measures are the measures of the activity most connected to achieving the goals. Okay? And this is called output. Next slide, Casey. Yeah, tawag dyan, output. Yung outcome naman, they are called lag measures. They measure the results. Lag measure is the measurement of result you want to achieve. Diba? They are called, next slide, Casey, outcome. Outcome naman yung tawag. So on this next slide, ito na yung correlation between output, outcome, lead measure, and lag measure. So output, definition, the tangible result of an action or process. So number of customer service calls answered. So similar to lead measures because they track the activities that contribute to the desired outcome. The outcome, the impact or value created by the output. Example, improve mo yung customer satisfaction score. So related to lag measures, as they measure the final impact of the work done. Pag lead measure naman, tulad ng output, predictive yan, can be influenced. So example, number of sales call or spent on skill development. So relation niya is focusing on controlling actions that lead to a successful outcome aligned to output. Lag measure naman, this is similar to outcome, final results that indicate success, pero harder to control yan. Example, revenue growth, customer retention. Then relation yan to outcome represents the actual success achieved. Yeah. So again, lag measure, next slide, Casey, measures the goals. Lead measure, they are influenceable. They measure something that leads to the goal. They are the activities. Next slide, Casey. So in a nutshell, in summary, example ng outcome, monthly sales, output, decreased number out of stocks. Kasi ang theory mo, pag na-decrease mo yung number out of stocks, ma-achieve mo yung monthly sales. So output mo, comply to 8 key standards, outcome yan, monthly incident report. So let's play again. Okay, before we go to the next topic. Next slide, Casey. Here's what we're going to do. Gawa ka ng, you show me thumbs up or heart sign. Thumbs up or heart sign. Pag output, thumbs up. Pag outcome, heart sign. Output, ganda na output mo ha. Great job. Pag outcome, oh, may impact ka, di ba? Diba? Output, nice, may ambag ka. Pero yung value, hindi lahat ng ambag, may outcome. Diba? Pag output, wow, you move the needle. Wow, significant contributor ka. Yan, heart yan. Okay. Next slide. Renewable energy capacity expansion. Constructing 100 MW solar power plant under Aboitiz Power. Thumbs up or heart? Mahirap to, ha?
Oh. Marami nagta-thumbs up so far.
Guys. Galing, we're learning. Okay, so tama ka. This is output. Okay. Next slide, Casey. Improve employee retention, performance and retention. 80% of trained employees applying sustainability principle leading to higher operational efficiency.
Oh, dami
Galing!
the heart. Wow.
Okay, nice. Great job, guys. Okay, next slide. CSR reports published, releasing the company's annual sustainability and ESG reports. Nice, that's correct. That's an output. Next slide, Casey. Increased renewable energy adoption, achieving a 30% reduction in carbon emission from Aboitiz Power operations due to the new solar plants. That's correct. That's definitely an outcome. Next. Employee training sessions, conducting leadership and sustainability training for 500 employees. That's correct. That is an output. Very good. Next. Stronger ESG ratings and investor confidence. Higher sustainability ratings and increased investment interest in AEV due to transparent reporting. Perfect. That definitely is an outcome. Okay? Meron pa ba, Casey?
Meron pa.
Meron pa. Enhanced operational efficiency and cost saving. A 20% reduction in administrative processing time due to the ERP system. That's correct. That is an outcome. Okay? Okay, next. Now, paano ko ba sabihin to? Not all outcomes are created equal. Ulitin ko ha. Not all outcomes are created equal. Kasi with one goal, kunyari, if you want to align with a strategic pillar, pwedeng ang daming outcome ipupush to. Even output. So ano kayong outcome pipiliin ko? So the best practice is you follow the 80-20 rule. Among all of this outcome, which of this outcome can immediately move the needle? Kasi lahat naman yan pwede eh. Let me give an example. Si Art dito, may VP for sales. He's my #1 salesperson. Ang daming pwedeng outcome. Outcome ni Art is marketing, market reach. Ano pa? People traffic. Pwede naman, di ba? Pero, ang outcome pala ni Art is repeat business. percentage of repeat business because it's easier to get repeat business than to acquire a new one. And mas profitable in repeat business in terms of effort. So doon namin na-realize that the right outcome is that 80% customer retention. So 80% customer retention is a better outcome. We're not saying that new clients, new basket is not important. What I'm saying is that priority si customer retention. So ask yourself, sa lahat ng outcome na pwede kong piliin, alin dyan that can have moved the needle immediately? Or follows the 80-20 rule. Okay, balikan natin yung Pareto principle, di ba? Nabanggit na pag-usapan natin to sa unang mga session natin, di ba? Which, all right, of the efforts can achieve 80% of the result. Next slide, Casey. Ayan, di ba? So, ang daming mga trivial tasks and vital tasks, di ba? Tingnan mo yung results, tingnan mo yung outcome. So, pag tingnan mo, 80% ng outcome ay galing sa retention and sustainability. Maganda yung results namin sa retention sustainability. Then definitely, titingnan mo, alin nagko-contribute siya na output. Doon pala sa few vital tasks. So yung few vital tasks is the output. Which are the few vital output that can help me 80% of the outcome. Then that's the right outcome. So pag natahi mo yun sa Pareto principle, you are on the right track. Because you're not just working hard, you are working smart. Because as I mentioned, not all outcome is created equal. Let me give you an example. I had the opportunity to do some consulting for one of the top malls in the Philippines. Meron dito sa EDSA, isa sa mga outcome tinignan nila, people traffic. Generate 80% more people traffic. Nagawa naman. Pero ito napansin nila, dinadaanan lang yung mall. Nandun yung people traffic, pero hindi bumibili. This is an example that you've achieved an outcome wherein nag-increase ng people traffic, pero hindi mo na-achieve yung right outcome. Which is, ano yung right outcome? Hindi naman, pareho naman siyang outcome. People traffic. Meron naman konting sales. Pero hindi siya Pareto principle. Yung pala, ang right outcome is achievement of relevant product offering. Diba? Yung relevant product offering, and of course, NPS and satisfaction of this mall, yun yung nag-convert sa kanila. Kaya nagbago ng merchandising yung mall. Ang focus na nila, NPS, CSAT, Net Promoter Score, more likely you're going to recommend. So yun na yung mga outcome focus nila rather than just people traffic outcome. Right? So this is an example of applying 80-20 rule. Another example, si Payless Shoe Shop, diba? I think I mentioned this as one of the case study. Payless filed for a bankruptcy. Maling outcome ang fino-focus. Market reach, di ba? Mga ganong data. And they realized that NPS, customer experience, was the right outcome. Because ang napansin nila, pag si customer pupunta sa Payless, pahinga ng brown shoe, patingin niya ng brown shoe, lumalabas daw at naghanap ng alternative. So napansin nila, pag maganda yung experience sa Payless, nagsistay sa store. Nakita siya, doon na lang siya namimili ng 5 variety ng brown shoes. So doon nila napansin, guys, magpalit tayo ng outcome. Ang outcome natin, Net Promoter Score, CSAT. Pag happy si customers, did customer experience, pag happy si customer staying in our store, more likely they will buy from us. Rather than the advertising outcomes, marketing outcomes, so mali yung strategy. Nagpalit sila ng strategy. And again, they use the Pareto principle. Next slide, Casey. So, sa atin naman, let's focus on outcomes that lead to measurable improvements like efficiency, cost savings, and business impact. Why? Why is it important to focus on these certain outcomes? Wherein, dapat efficient tayo. Dapat cost savings tayo, business impact. Here are the reasons why, based on research. Next slide, Casey. Number 1, efficiency drives competitive advantage, especially on savings, right? Because if you are efficient, you have elbow room for budget, for innovation, for product quality, for cost agility. Next, cost savings enable sustainable growth. Na-experience mo na ba wherein na-achieve mo yung mga projects mo, pero ang gastos mo. Di ba? Take note, using I just taught financial analysis last week. We have to differentiate between fixed costs, variable costs, and we have to talk about cash flow. And when we talk about fixed costs, variable costs, and cash flow, doon mo nakita, we have to have a certain level of cash pangpasweldo natin. You are a fixed cost. You have monthly salary. And if you're asking us for us to be competitive, if you're asking us some projects to invest on transformation, to invest on this project, Where will we get the cash and elbow room for more projects kung hindi sustainable yung cost savings natin, kung wala tayong pera? Diba? So cost savings enable sustainable growth. The more cash that we have and the more we're able to accommodate our fixed costs and have good margin, by the way, because nag-cost saving tayo, definitely may elbow room tayo for investment. Then finally, business impact. Bakit kailangan nasa business impact? Because it creates stronger market presence, especially for our investors. They will invest more on us, increase customer loyalty, di ba? And higher revenue generation. These are the three reasons why. Diba? Now that we have differentiate between outcome and output, the next question is how to make it smart. So what are the benefits of SMART goals? So the benefits is it will improve your workplace communication kasi malinaw eh. Especially pag SMART goal yung yung version. Pag sinabing improve customer satisfaction, hindi siya SMART goal. Bakit? O boss, improve yung customer. Meron tayong 2 customers happy. Medyo hindi siya SMART goal kasi hindi siya measurable. Paano mo nalaman happy? Nakangiti lang sila. So hindi siya SMART goal, di ba? And the good thing about the SMART goal, it helps you grasp what you want to accomplish. Okay? So, balikan natin ibig sabihin ng SMART. Sige nga, ano ibig sabihin ng SMART? Ano ibig sabihin ng S? Specific. Okay, the goal should be precise and can easily be defined. Ano pa? Measurable. There's a saying, whatever gets measured, gets done. Attainable or achievable. Kahit na challenging, your goal should be realistic. Siyempre, hindi smart yun pag ang goal madaling ma-achieve. Kailangan medyo may challenge, medyo may stretch goal ng konti. Kasi kung madali siya ma-achieve, hindi siya impact-based. Kasi madali lang gawin eh. Next is relevant. Ito, value adding din yung relevant. So medyo ito pinaprime na tayo sa value addition. Your goal should be important. Okay? And finally, time-bound. Dapat meron kang time frame. Okay? So tips on how to define your SMART goals. So let's make it unsmart, diba? Kunyari, I want to improve my confidence when giving presentation. So paano ba to gawing unsmart this is unsmart. Paano ba to gawing smart? At the end of the day, I will be able to improve confidence when giving presentation through data, through NLP, through ensuring audience to 90% audience participation. So this is an example of how you make it an unsmart goal to a smart. Another example, okay. Unsmart goal is improve financial goals and compliance. Motherhood statement. The big question is how? How can you make it measurable? How can you make it smart? Improve financial goals and compliance by ensuring 100% adherence to regulatory and internal audit requirements with 0 major audit findings in this year. This is an example given by Aboitiz Academy. Perfect. Well thought of SMART goal formulation. Okay? So this is an example. You make it from unsmart, you make it smart. So let's have a SMART quiz exercise. Next slide, Casey. Increase employee engagement. Input in our chat box. Make it smart. Ng examples on making it smart. This is an outcome-based na. Pero you have to make it smart. Ano kaya? Kahit anong numbers, okay lang yan. I just want to see that you're making it smart. Input in the chat box, please.
Type it in the chat box. 8 people. Thank you so much.
How do you increase employee engagement? What's the number that we're looking at? So what's the goal? How much time it will take you to accomplish that goal? How often? When and where will it take place? Who is involved? So guide questions lang to. You don't have to follow it in a linear process. As long as meron siyang movement from X to Y by when or measurable from X to Y by when. This is by execution excellence framework. From X to Y by when. This is a good formula in making it smart.
Let's go.
Okay. Siret? Ayun.
Meron
Increase.
nagsabi.
Galing, Jonathan. Increase from
Galing.
30% of employee engagement within 6 months. Love it, Jonathan. Great job. What
Ano
else?
lang, no? Concise lang, no? Galing.
Right now, you can make it simple.
That's
Diba?
good.
Simplicity is our philosophy. Anyone else would like to share? How do you make it smart? Isang example sa making it smart. Next slide, Casey. Increase employee engagement scores by 15% and reduce turnover rates by 10% by implementing leadership development programs, mentorship initiatives, and continuous feedback mechanisms by Q4 this year. So this is an example of making it smart. O ito, isa pa. Another, next slide, Casey. Let's make it smart. Increase renewable energy adoption.
For those who can relate, maybe you can share your SMART goals for this one.
Let's try, people. This is somehow technical, no? But I think we can try to check lang if ever we have a background on power. There might be some efforts that we can consider in crafting a smart goal from this.
Yep.
Try lang, try.
Try lang natin.
Others can go along and write it on their piece of paper if ever, or maybe draft it in their laptops. Others feel free to put it in our chat box. Try lang.
Mm. Okay, sige, Siret muna. Okay.
Sirit
next
now, sir.
slide.
Sirit.
Sirit. Okay. Achieve a 25 increase in renewable energy generation by adding 500 MW of solar and wind capacity by the end of 2025, reducing carbon emissions by at least 20% across Aboitiz power operations. So this is an example of making smart. You can see my from X to Y by when at something measurable. Okay? Next, so ito, baka naman kaya ng iba to. Boost digital transformation impact. How can you make it smart? You find lang siguro relevant numbers na medyo we measure the impact. So, pwede naman. How can you make it smart? Ano bang effect pag meron tayong digital transformation? Oh, Sirit. Ay, hindi naman Sirit. Clue. Efficiency. O, di ba? Clue is efficiency. How do you measure efficiency? And how do you correlate it to digital transformation? Or you can use adoption rate. Kasi adoption din to eh. Yun lang. You can use adoption rate. Scale mo lang yung adoption. How do you formulate as goal statement, outcome-based statement about it?
Parang by the end of the month, we are going to utilize the
80% of the
AI or
workforce.
something. May ganon.
80 to 8 at the end of the year, 80% of the workforce will be using ChatGPT.
Pwede. Why not? Why not? If it contributes to your efficiency, why not?
Oh, di ba?
Ayan, here you go. From the AEV people team,
Boost by
X.
Next year by implementing automation, increasing employee adoption of digital tools. Nice! Ang galing,
From,
Why?
also from Catherine.
Yes. What I like about AEV people team is that kinonect niya yung output niya, something within their control, which is training program. At tinahin niya dun sa outcome.
Nice.
Which means, through training programs, ang outcome focus niya, ma-boost niya by X%, implement automation, increase employee adoption of digital tools.
Parang merong visualization na nangyayari dito, no?
Catherine, I love this, Catherine, as well. Reducing man hours by 30%. Ang ganda ng outcome nito kasi big picture eh. Hindi lang yung paggamit ng AI, ng digital transformation. Kita mo Catherine, reducing man hours by 30% by digitizing 70% of process by December 2025. Diba? Catherine, alam ko iniisip mo, mag-hire ka ba ng robot? Delikado trabaho ko, ha? Huwag ka mag-hire ng robot. Kita mo, no? Kausap ko robot.
Corny ang jokes ng robot. Mas magaling kami doon.
All right, so clear na ba, guys? How to make it smart? Let's give ourselves a round of applause. Great job, guys. Now, let's talk about how to align. Ayan. How to align. Sige. Let me share with you a very interesting topic of the importance of alignment. So I mentioned, right, that I teach strategic management. Next slide, Casey. So how the strategy works. First, it starts with what you call number one, strategy ideation. Number two, strategy deployment. Number three, strategy execution. May leakage daw. Bakit siya may leakage? Have you ever experienced wherein kung ano yung na-agree na strategy, iba yung na-prioritize o na-cascade? Or na-experience mo ba na iba yung na-cascade at na-communicate, pero iba yung ginagawa ng mga tao? May leakage. There is a big gap. And the reason why there is a strategy execution gap, kasi hindi kasi tayo align. Hindi align yung output sa outcome, at hindi din align yung outcome dun sa goals. Kaya alignment is the key. The stronger you are in terms of alignment, okay, the more synergized you are in terms of alignment, the more you can achieve the results that you want. How many times were in yung mga strategic pillars natin, nakasulat lang strategies, pero end of the day, parang yun pa rin yung strategies. Parang hindi nag-move ng needle. Kasi ibig ginagawa ng tao, mga ang daming initiatives na hindi align. Kaya napakahalaga ng strategy alignment. Okay? So how do you align? So number one, step one. Next slide, Casey. Define the strategy and big picture. Naintindihan ba natin yung mga big pillar strategy? Like for example, strategic partnership. Nandun yung sa support naman, nandun yung portfolio management, digital transformation. Kahit na sabihin natin na you are not accountable to that kind of strategy, you have to ask yourselves, ano ba ibig sabihin yan? You have to talk to your manager, to your directors. Boss, ano ba ibig sabihin ng mga strategies na to? Kasi by understanding the strategy, maintindihan mo how you can contribute to that strategy. You know what I mean? Rather than, yun yung strategy. Okay, balik ako sa day-to-day. It doesn't work that way. The most important perspective right now is that, do we have a clear understanding of what the strategic pillars are all about? And then after understanding, you have to go back to your drawing board. That's a very nice strategy ng Aboitiz. Right? Let's say, for example, itong supporting the supporting functions. How can our team add value to that one? Okay? That's how we add value. First, by understanding the big picture. Let me give an example. I have the opportunity to be a consultant of the top food corporation in Southeast Asia and in the Philippines. So by the way, I'm not revealing something confidential. Medyo itong data na to, hypothetical na to. So strategic pillar nila is triple the market share of the number 2 player. They're already number 1 in the Philippines and they want to become the top 10 in the world and top 5 in Southeast Asia. And strategic pillar is triple the market share of the number 2 player. So it's clear to everyone. Step 2 is identify key business areas that I can add value. Now that I know na ang strategic pillar is triple the market share of the number 2 player, right? Kung sino mang number 2 restaurant na yon. Next is, hahanapin ko anong key business areas I can add value para makakontribute ako dun sa triple the market share of the number 2 player. Then it looks like this. Next slide, Casey. So strategic pillar, triple the market share of the number 2 player. Marketing outcome. Achieve a 50% increase in brand awareness and customer engagement by launching a nationwide digital and influencer marketing campaign targeting 100 million impressions and a 20% rise in new customer acquisition by Q4 2025. So question, do you think marketing outcome can have impact, can add value to the triple the market share of the number 2 player? Yes, definitely. By having a brand awareness campaign and customer engagement, definitely they will increase their customers, all right? And they will be able to switch the customers from the other side and go to this restaurant. So marketing outcome definitely adds value to the strategic pillar. That's how we align, diba? Finance, how do you think finance can align to this strategic pillar? Increase total revenue by 200% and improve profit margins by 15% through strategic pricing, cost control, and expansion of high-margin menu items, ensuring for financial sustainability by the end of 2026. Definitely, this is a finance outcome that is correlated to triple the market share of the number 2 player, even though it's not directly connected to customers, not directly connected to competitors, but it's connected in terms of competitive advantage. Anong competitive advantage? Strategic dapat yung pricing natin versus the competition. Dapat medyo maganda yung margin natin, maganda quality ng produkto natin versus the competition, pero kailangan makontrol ko yung cost. Yung pinaka-quality at pinakamabang cost finance outcome yan. And ensure high margin menu. So sa menu ng restaurant natin, para matalo natin si number 2 player, let go mo na yung mga out of stock at let go mo na yung konti yung kita. Yung mga produkto wala masyadong kita, let it go. Diba? So this is a financial outcome on how they can beat the number 2 player. Si customer experience, ito malamang strong yung correlation. Increase net promoter score from 75% to 88% while improving CSAT from 80% to 95% through customer experience standards and training. So kita mo si customer experience contributing, okay? Connected, aligned to the strategic pillar, triple the market share of the number 2 player. Next, sales outcome. Increase daily transaction count from 500, all right, to 600 per store. Yes, we will have that one. After this, meron naman. Good question. Ay, ano lang, divert lang tayo kasi usually, and explaining if we're making it medyo mas simple, tas go to the technical, mas madali siya ma-explain. Ayan. So ito, sales, transaction count, dami ng customers, di ba? Okay, so next yan, ayan, so ito pa, isa pa example, then we'll go to AEV. Ayan. Next example, Casey. Separate the outcome and output. So ito naman, to a top telco company. Kailangan mahiwalay mo yung outcome tsaka output para maintindihan mo yan ba talaga yung outcome. So this is an example. I've done this goal formulation workshop to the top telco company in the Philippines. Tapos meron silang mga premium dealer stores. So ito yung ginawa namin goal at outcome tsaka output. So gusto ng goal nila, increase yung sales. So kita mo yung outcome, lahat connected sa goal sa sales. For example, increase ng broadband, increase ng postpaid, increase ng tattoo. Lahat yan connected dun sa sales. That's how you align the functional goal to the strategy. At pag nahiwalay mo yung output, doon mo makita yung difference na, okay, ang ilalagay ko itong outcome. Kasi, take note, pag output, very concrete. Ngayon, ang philosophy, ganito yan. Pag nagawa mo yung output at nag-move yung outcome, your bet is that this outcome will help you increase the sales from 10% to 15%. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kung betting, I'm betting on the output. Pag ginawa ko to, ma-achieve yung broadband. Kunyari, target ko yung 5 villages, ma-achieve ko yung broadband. Then this broadband will help increase the sales. Ngayon, pag hindi nag-move yung needle, papalitan ko yung output. Kung nag-improve yung outcome, tapos hindi connected yung goal, papalitan ko rin yung outcome. So this is how it looks like in terms of layering, in terms of connectivity. Now, let's go to Aboitiz per se. Ayan, may ready ako for Aboitiz. Ayan. So, next slide mo na, Casey. Ayan. Punta na tayo dun sa ano. This is an example naman of clinic, actually high precision. Ayan. Sa high precision, even their clinic, may measurement ang outcome tsaka output at alignment dun sa goal. Okay? Casey, punta tayo dun sa slide 86. Okay. Hindi yan slide 86. Before. Sorry, slide 86. Ayan. Ay, wait, yan ba yan? No, Casey. Slide 86. Before pa yata dyan. Before. This one. Okay, sige. Let's talk about strategic focus. So first, if the strategic focus is transformation, servicing, and operational efficiency, check mo kung anong business unit involved. Or part ka ba ng business unit na yon, tapos or part ka ba ng function na yon. Anong itsura ng outcome-based focus? Kunyari si Union Bank or nasa financial services ka transformation. Achieve 100% digital transformation of core banking by 2025, reducing manual processing time by 50% and increasing digital adoption to 10 million users. This is an example wherein kitang-kita mo, very aligned yung outcome-based goal mo dun sa strategic focus, which is transformation. Ngayon, business unit mo, nasa Aboitiz Power ka. Transformation, parang strategic pillar, transformation. How does it look like from a Aboitiz Power energy and sustainability perspective? Expand smart grid deployment to 80% of service areas by 2026, reducing system downtime by 40% and improving energy efficiency. All of those is correlated to a bigger theme, which is transformation. Kita mo, parehong strategic pillar, magkaibang business unit, magkaibang departamento, magkaibang function, pero look at the outcome-based goal. All of those outcome-based goals can have an impact to the strategy, which is transformation. Let's talk about servicing. Tingnan natin, dalawang servicing, magkaibang departamento, Magkaibang business unit, pero look at the business goal. Let's talk about servicing from an Aboitiz Infra Capital perspective. Achieve a 90% customer satisfaction rate in industrial parks and smart cities through digital concierge services by 2025. And you can see here, everything here is related to servicing. Okay, take note of this one. We always have the ability to connect the dots. Okay, by connecting the dots, by doing this, may impact ba to, may correlation ba to sa servicing? And if the answer is yes, you are in the right path. And the big question is, servicing, under ba to ng department to ko? Under ba to sa function ko? Is this something I can influence? Not control, influence. Kasi you might go to Aboitiz Academy, hindi ko naman area yan eh. Hindi ko naman department yan eh. So ask yourself, among all in your area, in your function, alin doon that you can influence that can help you align dun sa servicing? O ito pa, si Pilmico. Okay? Increase customer attention by 30% to personalized supply chain solutions, ensuring 95% on-time delivery by 2026. Okay? So parehong servicing, ang strategic focus, magkaibang business unit, magkaibang outcome business goals, pero both of them may ambag dyan at align doon sa servicing. Let's talk about operational efficiency. Aboitiz Construction at Aboitiz Equity Ventures. Aboitiz Construction. Improve project delivery speed by 40% and reduce operational costs by 20% by integrating AI-driven project by 2025. O, ito naman, si Aboitiz Equity Ventures. Implement enterprise-wide process automation, reducing administrative costs by 25% and increasing productivity by 30% by 2025. Now, tanong, the one doing this goal, taga-san siya? Okay, tanong natin yan. So, question, wait. Nawala, hindi pala siya nagpa-pop up yung question. Wait.
It's under Q&A, Prof. Francis. I can relay the question.
Sige.
Wait lang, Prof. Francis. Question is, hi, do you have sample outcomes related to creating a baseline? Before we say improve A from X% to Y%, we need to establish the X% first, right? Is there a good goal related to establishing a baseline? How can we state the outcome?
Okay. So isa-isa natin, no, dissect natin yung question. The big question is, how can we establish a baseline? Correct? Okay. If a project hasn't been done, then a baseline is 0%. Ibig sabihin, wala pang na-accomplish. So for example, and you can, sa project management kasi tinuturo namin yan phases milestone. So for example, this kind of project, may kailangan gawin from 1 to 10. Then you have to make it quantitative. So for example, milestone 1 to 10, 1 to 2 can be the 20%. 3 to 4 can be the 40%. Example lang. You can put metrics to activities being implemented. So if it's a project that needs to be done and you need a baseline, then you can create a quantitative matrix out of implementing an activity or a project or a milestone. Then you put percentage. So that's one. Ngayon, if it's related to customer satisfaction, madali lang. A baseline can be CSAT, employee engagement, customer satisfaction, pwede yan, even sa sales, di ba? Ngayon, isa ding baseline is that pwede ka makiride ng baseline ng iba. Example, baseline ng finance. Let's say, for example, cost efficiency, cost savings. Meron ka bang project or initiative wherein nakaka-support dun sa cost savings? So, pwede mo i-adapt yung baseline ng finance. For example, implement cost savings of from 10% to 20%. Pwede mo sabihin, alam mo, Aboitiz Academy, pwede ko kunin yung baseline ng finance. Kasi feeling ko, yun yung moving the needle for me. Yun yung pareto ko. Pag nakatulong ako sa finance in terms of cost saving because of my data, because of my AI, kunyari taga-data ka or AI transformation, digital transformation, at ang focus mo, finance, di ba? Feeling ko makakaambag ka sa finance. Pwede mo gamitin yung finance. Tapos, via digital transformation, yung initiative mo. Let's say, for example, achieving relevant cost-saving initiative of financial models from 10% to 20% using digital transformation initiative. Then definitely, the finance criteria or metrics, you can get that one. Ang pangit kasi pag lahat tayo gumagawa ng different metrics, ang hirap i-connect the dots. Pero kung yung metrics natin, tahi-tahi, doon mo makita yung connectivity. Balik natin systems thinking. The whole is more than the sum of its part. Kailangan connected yung outcome nyo. Kasi kung outcome nyo hindi konektado, may kanya-kanya kumpanya, sarili-sarili kayong target. Diba? So, again, yung alignment na naman, yung execution gap, nangyayari na naman yan. So, if you want to have a baseline and if you want to have a metric, then ask yourselves, doon sa mga major baseline, major metrics on how the company is measured, alin doon ang pwede kong i-adapt? Alin doon ang pwede kong kunin? If your function is related to HR or has an impact or influence to HR, definitely that's it. For example, training. Pwede mo itahi yung training to retention or engagement. Kahit naman hindi ikaw yung sa training. Diba? Pwedeng ganon. So, pwede mo siya i-correlate. So, end of the day, gagawa ka ng training. Oh, ito pa. Pwede din yung training towards performance. Sino bang in-charge yung performance? Sino bang in-charge yan? So, training ka, pero kinorelate mo sa performance. So, kung sino mang department may hawak doon. Pwede din. Training to AI. Kunyari, AI transformation metrics, transformation goal. Nasa training ka, pero does your training have impact on the adoption rate on the digital transformation? So, pwede yun din yung baseline mo. Pwede din yun yung metrics mo. Kasi pag gumawa ka ng sarili mong metrics na hindi aligned dun sa bigger outcome, tawag din bigger outcome, sa bigger outcome tapos sub-outcome, definitely magkakaroon tayo ng misinterpretation. At wala siya masyadong impact. Balikan natin yung kanina, yung sample ko kanina. Casey, balikan nga natin yung sa Flebo naman, yung sa high precision. Okay. Detour lang tayo, other example. So this is a clinic. Ang gusto ng clinic, mag-improve yung customer satisfaction. Take a look, paano nagkaroon ng different outcome ibang departamento. Si imaging, si x-ray, imaging kasi tawag dyan x-ray. Sabi niya, ang outcome ko, improve customer communication. Yung customer communication ko, okay, kitang-kita mo aligned sa goal. Si Flebo naman, yung nagkumukuha ng injection. Okay, at si cashier din. Tingnan mo si cashier. Wala namang kinalaman yun sa customer satisfaction. Pero in-adapt ni cashier yung customer communication by managing customer complaint kasi dami daw complaint. Ng ano ko, ng test ko. Dapat meron silang positive scripting. Good news, ma'am. Your executive checkup only costs 25,000 pesos. Ayan, may positive scripting na sila. So this is an example of how you adapt. So ano yung next question?
Who should set the goals for AEV so that the CSU goals can align?
Okay. Usually, the department or division, dapat yun yung goal. Tapos, ginagawa mo lang yung goal tsaka sub-goal. Parang bigger outcome, tapos sub-outcome. So when you're able to create a sub-outcome out of that bigger outcome, then definitely you are aligned. Pag medyo malayo yung perspective, kunyari, ang outcome dyan, digital transformation, cost savings. Tapos, ang ano mo naman, improved implementation. Pag medyo malayo, medyo hindi align. At hindi siya talaga functional goals related to the strategy. Ano yung next
Another
question?
Any advice on how to go about aligning outcomes when, for example, we're given goals on a motherhood phrases? Example, deliver transformation. How can you take it from here?
Good question, kasi that will be my topic. Pero to answer that question, it's really creating an outcome base that will add value to your stakeholders. If it's an outcome base that only adds value to you as a person, then definitely it's not a perfect outcome. So when we talk about stakeholders, sino ang mga external customers mo? Then you can probably sit down with your customers, gagawa ka ng goal. Does this outcome make sense to you? If I've achieved this outcome, will it add value to HR? If I achieve this outcome, will it add value to operations, to finance? If you're able to link the dots that it will add value, then definitely that's a relevant outcome. Kasi if you're, yeah. Okay, go ahead, question.
Prof. Francis, I think Ish also wants to answer.
Yes. Hi,
Yes.
Prof. Francis. Hi, everyone. I can see here the question. No, who should set the goals for EEV so that CSU goals can align? So for us, no, in EEV, because we are a portfolio manager, so unlike SBUs, EEV does not have a traditional scorecard. That's why we called it work program, no. So instead, we have strategic goals that serve as our guiding framework. Yun yung pinakita namin last time, which is the EEV 2.0. The strategic priorities of EEV plus the EEV 2.0 function. So which later on, no, the CSU heads will provide more information about that each of the CSU. So these strategic goals actually are set at the EEV level. So sino yung nagda-design? Those are on the strategy team, no? So dun si HR nag-align or the people team aligns, no? So that when we launch the work program, doon natin siya ina-anchor. What is our strategic priorities? Plus of course, yung mga transformative or the value addition goals. So from that EEV level strategic goals, the CSU goals should align with them to ensure na coherence, no, yung impact natin across the organization. Now tanong natin, so saan mag-align sa individual goals? So the individual goal should align to the CSU goals. So ganun yung process natin in EEV. I hope that makes sense to everyone. Thank you, Prof.
You. That's
Thanks,
very, very enlightening. Thank you for that one. Okay. Now, another way also to align is, aside from definitely, we have to strongly align to the recommendation of Ish. Another also way to create outcome goals na align yung functional goals natin is using the Michael Porter's value chain. So slide 87, ayan. Michael Porter is a strategist from Harvard. Meron siyang ginagawang value chain. Yung value chain, sabi niya, from a goal, okay, may tinatawag na business multiplier. Tapos from the business multiplier, my business strategy or what we call the business drivers. Then from the business drivers, may tinatawag business enabler. So pag sinabing driver, this is the core business areas directly impacting growth. So for example, yung strategy mismo na sinabi ni Ish, yung strategic pillars na yon. Pag ako talaga in charge yon, wala tayong pinag-uusapan. Ako yan. Multiplier yung catalyst that will impact the strategy. Third is the enabler, supporting ka ba? Ito, isa din to. Kung supporting yung function mo to a business driver and enabler, then definitely that's the right alignment of your functional goal. Okay? Mamaya tayo, i-enhance pa natin yung value addition. Right now, we're thinking about functional goals that we need to align. So the perspective of this Michael Porter's value chain will really be helpful. How does it look like in terms of outcome-based goals? Casey, next slide. Example, driver. Driver talaga ng strategy. Si Aboitiz Infra Capital. Secure 1 billion in FDI for smart cities and industrial zones by 2026. So kita mo dito, siya talaga in charge ng driver. Multiplier, si finance, which means the one that can multiply the business. Increase fintech adoption across AEV SBUs, boosting digital transactions by 200% by 2025. Ito na, mga enabler. Enabler, ibig sabihin, individually, wala masyado akong ano doon. Individually, parang supporting lang yung role ko doon sa strategy na yon. Pasok pa rin yan kasi tawag sa'yo enabler, business enabler or strategy enabler. So how does it look like? Si Aboitiz Data Innovation, kunyari, deploy AI-driven analytics to reduce operational costs by 20%. Si Aboitiz Equity in Ventures, achieve digital transformation and sustainability by 2026 through AI training of 100% of the workforce. Si Aboitiz Power, achieve 50% renewable energy mix by 2030 through 500 million investment in joint venture projects. So you can see, regardless if you're the driver, if you're the cost of multiplying the business, driver is a driver of strategy. Ikaw leader ng strategy na yan. Tapos next is enabler ka. Ayan. So dito mo rin pwedeng makita, supporting function ka ba? Okay? Thank you for that, Krisha. Okay. Isa ding, aside from the business value chain, again, suggestion lang to. Treat this like a toolbox. When you say toolbox, hindi pwedeng step by step. In creating an outcome, you can look at this perspective. Okay? May questions ba before I proceed to this next tool?
There are some, but I think there
Yes,
are,
Prof.
yeah. Are
Uh,
there outcomes defined for each AEV strategic pillars or AEV 2.0 functions? Or are there outcomes defined for each? Tapos merong ditong question. I think there's a confusion comes from also from the metrics. We have a 1 to 3 metrics when industry standard is 1 to 5. Is HR, so this is for you HR, going to set a standard to align these two?
So these questions is something that I can't answer.
We
I
cannot
think I'll
control
leave
you.
it to our staff.
We'll address it, Prof. We'll address it.
Will
Thanks.
ano Prof Francis no will address it. But first muna, are there outcomes defined for each of the strategic pillar? It's actually not an outcome but more of what are the deliverables for each of the pillars, no? And
Mm-mm.
those have been discussed with the CSU heads. I understand the confusion, no, where the confusion coming from. Naiintindihan ko because siguro if I am not the processor or I'm not the process owner, baka I have the same questions in mind. But hopefully, when you have a discussion with your CSU heads, all things will be cleared, no? Because also in people team, for example, just to share, no, for all the attendees today, for example, in people team, we also have that separate discussion where we will share with them what is the EEV 2.0, what are the expected or what are the activities under each of the strategic pillar, and now where are the people goals no can connect to that, because as mentioned by Prof Francis earlier, sometimes pag yung CSU mo is directly contributing to the portfolio manager or you're one of the portfolio manager, alam mo agad what are the goals that you need to declare. But there are CSUs who are focusing on the EEV operation, meaning mas more on enabler ka. So how can you now connect your goals no to the bigger picture? How can you help move the needles? So yun yung mga discussions na gagawin ng mga CSU heads natin per CSU. Now, why are we not doing it in this plenary? Because each of the CSU plays a different role, has a different contribution to the EEV in general, no? And it's the CSU heads who can provide a more clearer picture of how the CSU can connect to that big picture. So hopefully, no, you'll have that discussion with your CSU head para ma-clear din yung mga questions natin. But yeah, all the CSUs no in EEV have contribution, may it be direct or indirect, but lahat ng ginagawa natin, merong ambag, no, doon sa EEV as in general. So yung next is, I think, where the confusion comes in also from the metrics. We have a 1, 2, 3 when industry standard is 1.5. Medyo mahirap, no? But yes, siguro if you are here in EEV for the past 5 years katulad ko, maaalala nyo siguro that we have a 1.5 scale, no? Pre-pandemic days. When I joined EEV, ako then na-experience ko 1 to 5 and then we improved no to 1 to 4 and then now 1 to 3. Hopefully next year wag na yes or no, no? But siguro we're doing this to actually, we're defining the metrics for us to better, it's easier for us also to define, that's one, and make sure that we are, again, to align with the outcome base, we need to also refine the metrics that we have. Because sometimes if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes doon tayo sa safe metrics. Okay, sige, I'll check 3, I'll check 4, right? So making it more easier, defining it that way, it's easier for us to also define our metrics plus score ourselves no based on the goals that we are declaring, and of course based on the output that we are expecting and aligning it to our metrics. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry, I think I agree with Ish a while ago. So again, in terms of the definition really of your outcome, and where your place is in the strategic pillar, it's supposed to be discussed and clarified with your leads, your team leads, or your heads. So again, if you're a servicing type of CSU, if you are keeping the lights on, or if you're the operations type of CSU, I think the clarification of the outcome is really based on your discussion with your leads, and they'll be able to clarify better on what is expected of you or what's the outcome expected from your role or function. So some are not really directly linked to the portfolio management, pero operations-wise, then just sila contributing to the organization, even servicing then to the organization is a contribution or an outcome you can actually give to the organization. Thanks for the clarification, Ish. Thank you. Prof.
Thank you,
Francis,
Ish. So aside from the business value chain of Michael Porter, again guys, a toolbox to. It's up to you on what lens would you like to consider to help you craft your outcome-based goal. So again, this is not a process flow that I'm going to teach. These are again guidelines, principles techniques you can use in crafting your outcome-based goals. Another thing to consider para makatulong, ano pa bang pwede kong gawing functional goals? Ito, pwede din to, which is what we call the, next slide, Casey, the 7S. Pwede ba ako makatulong sa strategy, sa structure, sa system, sa skills, or sa style? So, how does it look like? Kung strategy, yan, kay Aboitiz Infra, secure 1 billion in FDI for smart city, yan. Kay structure, di ba, expand digital banking adoption. Kung systems, kay data innovation, deploy AI-driven, kasi sa system. Or the skills, di ba? Achieve digital transformation sustainability through AI training. Or sa style, diba? Energy leadership, achieve a 50% renewable energy mix by 2030 through strategic partnership. So it can, the 5S pala to. Pwedeng 7S or 5S, makakuha ka ng perspective on how to create an outcome-based goal. Okay? So it's like saying, okay, kung ito yung strategy na to ng organization, may system ba doon that can help enable the strategy? May skills ba na kailangan, mamaya we'll talk about capability building. May skills ba na under my control or under my influence, I can help, that can help achieve strategic partnership? Nandun na, may strategic partnership, di ba? Okay, may style ba or may staff ba na development? Okay, so again, you can always find ways to contribute and to add value. These are just perspective or lens. Okay. So next, Casey. We have always re-emphasized the importance of adding value. And this last part, aside from aligning, adding value, especially this is for the value addition goals. Kung hindi naman, aside from the functional goals na kailangan kong i-craft, anong perspective ang pwede kong gawin or tingnan dun sa add addition value goals? Allow me to share with you this book by Morten Hansen. Meron siyang book called Great at Work. How top performers do less, work better, and achieve more. And isa sa mga study niya, next slide, Casey, is asking the questions, what are the 3 reasons why people are not great at work? At ito yung results. Results are broad yung scope, urgent and not important, tapos do more non-value adding output. This is the reason why people are not great at work. They might be busy, but not great at work. Dahil sa mga factors na to. So other, halo-halo na yan. Pero itong 3 na to, very related to in terms of formulating value addition goals. So how can we craft value addition goals? First, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, you can do a stakeholder analysis by understanding what is value adding to your stakeholders. Next slide, Casey. Kino analysis is one perspective. Anong mga delighters sa mga stakeholders ko? What will make my stakeholders happy? Doon sa mga value-adding sa mga stakeholders that will make it convenient, efficient for them, na-simplify ko ba yung proseso sa kanila, that created delightful moments for them. Aside from that one, nag-provide ba ako ng data, nakapag-leverage ba ng data, nakapag-capability building. So, doon ako pwedeng gumawa ng value addition goals. Satisfier. Ano mga satisfier kay KK no analysis? Or blockers, dissatisfier. Baka may mga dissatisfiers ang aking mga stakeholders na pwede kong i-remove. Within my control, within my influence. These are the outcome-based goals that will remove the dissatisfier or blockers to my stakeholders. Then definitely, that can be a good perspective for value addition goals. So the next slide will share with you that by being other-centric, mas impactful ang mga goals natin. Example, generic example, human resources. Instead of having an internal metric perspective, complete annual performance, ito, ensure 70% of managers receive helpful feedback. Itong isa, very task-driven na naman yung kanyang output. Isa, business logistics, 84% of shipments must leave our warehouse. Deliver 85% of shipments to customer when they need them. Take note, ang impact ng value focus, which is beneficial to others, beneficial to stakeholders. O salesperson, upsell 1 additional garment. Upselling, about myself, very self-centric. Yung isa, only upsell to buyers wanting an additional garment. Elementary school, complete 3 years of teaching. Ito, iba. 90% of students should become proficient in math. Yung isa, yung teacher perspective niya, mag-accomplish ko lang yung task ko na makakapag 3 years ako dito na pagtuturo. Si medical doctor, kailangan makita ko yung 160 patient. Internal metric. Outcome metric at value-adding metric. Diagnose patients accurately 80% of the time. Oh, next slide, Casey. Generic example before we'll go to Aboitiz. Lawyer, achieve 80% billable. Ito naman kay lawyer, help client solve problems. Si college professor, get 12 academic papers. Ito, publish 3 academic papers that advance the field. Yung isa si college professor about myself. Ito, si social service consultant, administer 200 case files. Ito, ensure 70% of clients get positive outcome. Si call center, process 10 customer calls. Medyo internal metric. Fix customer problem in the first call 90% of the time. So kita mo yung impact if yung lens ko sa value additional goals about being beneficial to others. Ang lupit ng outcome formulation because definitely it will move the needle, it will delight our customer, it will satisfy them, and it will remove the blockers. So how can we apply it dito sa Aboitiz? Main question is, next slide, Casey. Are you working on the right things? Which means effectiveness. And are you doing the things right? So from Aboitiz perspective, number one question, can it help move the needle? Is it aligned to the AEV strategic pillars? Kung align yan, then value addition yan. Number two, does it add value to the outcome of your stakeholders? So ibig sabihin, yung parang delighters, blockers, na-remove ko ba yung blockers? Na-delight ko ba yung stakeholders ko dun sa outcome na yon? Then definitely that's a check. Ito na, yung alignment as well, efficiency. How can we simplify and remove blockers? What simplifying, enhancing processes I can create? If that goal is related to efficiency in the perspective of stakeholders, check. Leverage on data. What data is missing? What actionable insights you can get from data? And leverage on data. And third sa doing things right, efficiency. Capability. What new capabilities I have built to enhance my performance and add value? So how does it look like? Ito yung mga example na mga statements, outcome-based statements that's aligned to this one. Next, Casey. Okay. Moving the needle. Achieve a 50% efficiency gain, 20% market share growth, and 2 joint innovation projects through 3 strategic partnership in renewable energy and digital transformation. This is aligned to our AEV strategic pillar, which is strategic partnership. So, this one, definitely straightforward. It helps move the needle. It's aligned to the AEV strategic pillar. Number 2, sa stakeholders. Ito naman, kita mo, finance. Diba? Finance gumagawa nito. Enhance stakeholders to optimize capital allocation, cost efficiency, and risk management, driving a 20% increase in profitability and 50% high returns for investors and improve financial transparency. So, kita mo dito, kahit na finance siya, nag-value addition goals siya from the perspective of stakeholders. Ito, efficiency. Ito naman, perspective to ng process improvement. So, kita mo guys, I'm sharing here, directly aligned to the strategic pillars, finance, aligned dun sa stakeholders. Ito naman sa process improvement. Process improvement in relation to efficiency. Streamlining operations to enhance stakeholder value through process simplification, achieving 20% cost reduction, faster workflows, and greater transparency. Ito pa, leverage on data. Strengthen stakeholder partnership by leveraging data-driven insights to drive 20% cost reduction, faster decision-making, and greater transparency. And finally, capability-driven. Implement data-driven training programs to strengthen stakeholder partnership, enabling 20% cost reduction, faster decision-making, and greater transparency. So these are example of outcome-based goals that's aligned to the 5-way test. Question so far? Ano yung question natin, Andrew?
Prof, sorry, we have a question. In value add goals, does that mean that if I go beyond my target from my functional goal, I'm already hitting my value add goals? Because I exceeded what is expected of me and created a bigger impact with my goal achievement.
Are you talking about, sige, repeat ko yung question. Dito na pala. In value adding goals, does that mean if I go beyond my target from my functional? Not necessarily. Kasi the functional goals, ladies and gentlemen, is really connected to your role per se and aligned to the strategic goals per se. The value-adding goals, not necessarily, can be, but not necessarily. Kasi meron namang value-adding goals can be supporting. Pwede. Pero kung yung hitting the targets, that's aligned to the strategic goals, functional goals yun. Ang ayaw natin mangyari, by doing this, functional goals, tahi ko na yung value goals. Parang nakiride yung si value additional goals ko sa strategic goals. Di ba? Tama dyan, double scoring. Di ba? Parang sa klase. Sir, pag natapos ko ba tong project ko, exempted na ako sa final exam. Kukuhin mo pa professor mo?
Aligned, Prof. Francis. Thanks for that. I think
O yan, para ano lang yan, bagsak ka sa final exam, gawa ka ng extracurricular. Pero hindi align, bagsak ka pa rin sa exam.
Thanks for that, Prof. I think aligned din with Ish, no? So again, we avoid double scoring in terms of really setting our functional and value addition goals. So usually pag value addition, it's really beyond what our role is, most probably. Tama ba, Prof. Francis? So parang magiging ganun yung messaging, no? In terms of value add. It's really more something beyond your scope
Beyond my scope.
with greater impact.
Yeah, with greater impact. So, paano tayo makakuha ng beyond my scope? So, definitely, yung number one na question, aligned to sa functional. Yung pangalawa, stakeholders. What are other stakeholder value-adding goals na hindi naman necessarily functional? So, yun, value addition yun. Kasi people ask you, oh, bakit nilagay mo yan? Kasi sir, itong tatlong stakeholders natin, mahalaga sa kanila to. Kaya value adding siya. Fourth, efficiency. O bakit ginagawa mo itong process improvement? Value-adding goals to, sir, kasi if I'm able to create a process flow that's more efficient, that will simplify the workload, definitely it will be beneficial to everyone. Tapos data, diba? So, and finally, capability. So, kita mo dyan, capability, efficiency, simplification, they are not necessarily aligned to the functional goals, all right, which is the reason why we're hard for the job, all right? Ito yung mga additional, impactful na goals na pwede nating tingnan. Okay. Other question?
Prof, sorry, I think Ish also mentioned here that value add goals should be able to answer the questions, how did you add value? And how did you simplify? So it includes improving efficiency, removing blockers. So I guess these are also present in our guidelines when creating our IWP, our work program. So again, for everyone, and also capability building is included here. So for everyone, when you're crafting your IWPs, when doing your value adding goals, so these are some of the things that you need to be able to refer to when crafting them. So again, are you able to increase efficiency in your job, and does it create better impact or further impact beyond standard job expectations? Also, capability building, are you able to develop new capabilities which could enhance your performance and add further value to what you do to the organization or for the organization? Yep, so this is very much present also, everyone, in our IWP guidelines. So you can refer to that as well.
Yep.
Thanks for that, Ish. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you, Ish. Okay. Now, may nabanggit kanina if I, kunyari nag-exceed ako ng target, anong perspective pwede kong tingnan? Nandun pa rin siya sa functional goals, pero ito na yung performance management system na tinitingnan natin. Next slide, Casey. So, example, adapt natin yung isa sa mga goals kanina, yung sa, is it aligned to the AEV strategic pillars? Balikan natin ito, nasa gitna. Meeting expectations yan. Achieve a 15% efficiency gain, 20% market share growth, and 2 joint innovation projects through 3 strategic partnership in renewable energy and digital transformation. Take note, that's what good looks like. This is the ideal. This is meeting expectation. Anong itsura niya ng below expectation? Simple lang. Sabi mo 15%. Kung na-achieve mo 10% and 10% market share, tapos 1 joint project lang, below expectation yan. Kasi sabi natin 15% efficiency 20% na market share growth. Nabigay mo lang 10%. Tapos sabi natin 2 joint projects, tapos na-achieve mo 1 lang. So nasa below expectation siya. So dito pupunta yung beyond expectation. Yung 20% efficiency, yan, mas mataas sa 15 definitely. Tapos 20% market share. Pero dito, meron kang 3 joint projects. Ito naman, yung kanina sa data-driven. Implement data-driven training. Nag-implement ka ng data-driven training, pero ang na-achieve mo, 10% cost reduction. Nasa below expectation siya. Ang beyond expectation, nag-implement ka ng data-driven, tapos ang resulta, 30% cost reduction. Pero una mong target, 20% cost reduction. So this is what the scalability should look like. Para malinaw for you and for your boss and for your stakeholders, right? What good looks like, ano yung beyond expectation at ano yung below expectation. Pag madali yung scalability, mas malinaw siyang i-target. Okay? Questions?
Prof, we have a question. Can this example be converted without, sorry, without RE? Wait. Something more AEV.
Something
I'll
more.
Yeah, I'll just put the question here.
Sige. Kung i-AEV, pwede natin balikan yung financial goals na pinakita. Ayan. Wait. Let me know if this is AEV. Meron ako dito sa Smart and Smart. Casey, punta tayo sa slide 69. Financial goals, yung sa Smart Rule. Kasi I adopted this from your example ng financial goals. Slide 69 is improve financial goals in compliance by ensuring 100% adherence to regulatory internal audit. Yeah, Treasury. Meron naman Treasury, yeah. Ako na lang, slide 69. Ayan, Casey. Thank you. Okay. So, input in our chat box. Ano ang below expectation dito sa SMART goal na to? Improve financial goals in compliance by ensuring 100% adherence to regulatory internal audit requirements with zero major audit findings in this year. Okay? Ano ang below expectation dito? If what? You look at the numbers, you look at the metrics, you will know what is a below expectation perspective. Ano? Pag below 100%, right? Pag below 100%, kunyari 80% adherence to regulatory, that's definitely a below. Tapos, meron kang nakitang major audit findings. Yan. Ano naman yung beyond? Pag medyo proactive na. So aside from improve financial goals and compliance, if people now are proactive, creating systems and models, all right, pag predictive na siya, proactive na siya, then definitely that's beyond expectation. Yep. So ano lang, you have to use the scalability part dun sa numbers and metrics that you consider. Kaya mahalaga yung SMART. Putting numbers at putting measurable perspective dun sa goals natin. Okay? Other questions?
Thanks for that, Prof. Francis. I hope that's clear
Yep.
for the one who asked the question.
Ito pa isa, AEV naman to. Nakuha ko to, yan. Ito. This one. Ayan. In your chat box, implement enterprise-wide process automation, reducing administrative costs by 25%, increase productivity by 30%. So, below expectation dito is your cost is below 25%. Okay? Kung hindi mo na-reduce ng 25%, then definitely that's below expectation. Tapos yung productivity mo, hindi 30%. That's also below. Okay. Ano naman yung beyond expectation? Pag administrative cost, wow, nakatipid ka 30%. Tapos productivity mo by 40%. So definitely, that's ano.
Prof.
Andrew?
Francis.
Yeah.
Prof. Art. I guess there's also another comment. Perhaps concrete examples per CSU function would help us. So there will be set on-demand sessions. If you want, you can also set or seek for the help from the people team to have on-demand sessions with your CSUs for you to be able to really be guided on the crafting of the goals tailor fit for your CSU. So this could be discussed directly with your teams, with your CSUs, so that if in case you have clarifications on the targets and so on and so forth, we can directly address it during the on-demand session. Or if you want, you can attend those on-demand sessions that we have that we are running for EEB. Yep. Thanks for that,
Thank you.
Francis.
Okay. Okay, so to close our session for today, allow me to do a recap. So Casey, go to slide 101 about our framework. Okay. So first, it's very important again that we need to start by understanding the difference between output and outcome. Ito yung step one. This is foundational. Because if we're able to differentiate, outcome pa lang, may value perspective na rito. Kasi kung output, ang laki ng leapfrog na gagawin mo to have the right goal formulation. Okay? Again, I mentioned output are the activities. Output are self-centric. And output are about the task. Outcome is the goal per se. And you have to be comfortable that you're not able to influence it. You have to be comfortable na hindi mo kontrolado ang outcome. Pero the good news is you're trying to find ways to have an impact on outcome. And number two, how to make it smart, make sure measurable siya from unsmart to smart. Because if you're able to measure it, doon mo ma-identify ang below expectation, meeting expectation, and beyond expectation. You can always put metrics and measurable data to any qualitative output. So for example, the qualitative is about execution. Okay, kunyari implementation. You can always have percentage in terms of milestones and in terms of project and timeline. And finally, how to align. Okay, you can use the business value chain of Michael Porter's. Are you an enabler of this strategy? Are you the driver, or am I the multiplier? And if you're able to align efficiently and effectively, then that's the functional goal that we're talking about. And last but not the least, how to add value. You can have the 5-way test, which includes stakeholder satisfaction. And at yung sinasabi nila, does it add value? Am I able to simplify? Was I able to leverage on data? And was I able to build capability? If I'm able to apply all this for perspective, then you are on the right track. Maraming salamat and thank you so much. Hope this session really helped you a lot. Don't worry, I'll share with you the e-module so that you can go through it and be guided once again in your goal formulation.
Thank you so much for that, Prof. Francis and Prof. Art. Thank you so much for the rich set of examples that you were able to give us. At least somehow in a way, the people are guided in or have a good start in being guided on really how to craft these goals, these outcome-based goals, either for functional or for value-adding goals. So I hope that our people here also had tried their best to craft along the way or during the session their own goals as well. So while we're having the discussion as well. So again, once again, thank you, Prof. Francis, for giving us a meaningful session on Beyond Outputs, driving impact through outcome-based goals. As we wrap up, let's continue prioritizing the impact of what we do this 2025. That our measure of success is not just by how many tasks we finish, but by the difference our meaningful work makes in the organization. Again, would like to acknowledge our wonderful guest speaker for today, Prof. Francis. A virtual round of applause for Prof. Francis. Thank you so much for the guidance, Prof. Francis. And of course, we'd like to thank you, our dear A people, for joining us. Now, as we conclude, we would love to hear your thoughts on today's session. Please take a moment to complete the feedback form that will be flashed on your screen right now. Your feedback is important to help us continuously improve our learning sessions moving forward. So I hope that everyone shares their genuine feedback to us so that we can continuously improve our learning sessions moving forward. We'll give you around 2 minutes. Please scan the QR code found on your screens right now. So again, everyone, your genuine feedback counts. So again, please scan the QR code that you have on your screens right now. And thank you for being curious and asking questions, everyone, to clarify about the individual work program as what Ish also has mentioned a while ago. And as the people team also will support you if ever you have further questions. On-demand sessions are there for us to be able to also clarify our individual work program and the structure or the framework, even the targets that you have for the year. All right. I hope everyone was able to scan their QR codes. Okie dokies. And with that, thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. We are looking forward to seeing you in our next learning sessions. Thanks so much, everyone, and goodbye. Happy Monday. Thanks,
Happy Monday,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Happy lunch.
Good job, Abites Academy.
Thanks, Joyce. Thank you so much, everyone. Stop recording.